This one's
All right,
quick.
so I have one from the illustrious Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. It's actually
you love
funny.
AOC.
So this is
I love that tweet.
right. Okay, so I do want to talk about this tweet. So I'm going to read out. This is from the illustrious Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She says, "I just want everyone in this country to have the same health care I receive as a member of Congress." And this got me thinking, and I've been thinking about this theme for a long time, and we try not to turn this into a mega conversation as we do for everything that we talk about. But what do you guys think about the idea that in America we think that we have this notion that everything that everybody does has equal value to things that other people do, and it sort of derives from the fact that we believe that all humans are created equal. But we sort of like that sort of like tides over into what everybody does is of equal worth, right?
I don't think many people have that feeling.
I do. The left does. I personally believe that a dishwasher is as valuable as a member of Congress.
Right, and so
it's valuable in what way? I think it's an important distinction as a human being. Yes, to
right, but I think that's where the bleed over is right there. So the question that you're asking is I think where the conflation comes in, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So Chris, and people on the left, you think okay, so a dishwasher is just as valuable as a congressperson.
Totally.
Right. So that is true. That is correct. But the issue is that the role of dishwashing is not as important to the United States as a representative is. Right. And so then you get into some tough questions. Like, I'm not really making a statement here. I'm just trying to open up a conversation. So you get into some tough questions, right? So if in a vacuum you had to choose between vaccinating your representative and vaccinating your dishwasher, who would you choose? Right? And then can you from that extrapolate a statement saying one person is more valuable than the other? Right? And this is kind of like an ethical question. I've been thinking about this for a while. It's like, as Americans, because we so strongly believe that all people are created equal, it's bleeding over into a whole bunch of other stuff. And I'm very sympathetic to it, but like it causes some really weird brain farts where it's like, well, obviously the president, the vice president, Congress should get vaccinated first because they need to be in tip-top shape in order to get stuff done for the country.
Totally. I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
I do. I also, just to expand on this, I think, and then Tim, I'll pass the baton, the talking piece to you.
By the way, your mic sounds great, Chris.
Oh, sweet. I'm so glad to hear.
Yeah.
Awesome. But, really, AOC has tweeted this multiple times. This is not just like a new notion of hers. And really, I think it comes down to that it's strange to me that, yes, sure, we'll say that members of Congress on certain things like vaccinations, of course, we want the president to get his COVID vaccine prior to myself, right? That makes sense to me in the same way that we want frontline workers to have that besides.
I actually disagree with that.
Anyways,
we'll get into that.
Another point. But anyways, when we're discussing like healthcare, because the left, and I'm not saying this to kind of combat where you guys stand, but this is simply just speaking so you guys can understand where the left is. We truly believe that healthcare, and this again, Pandora's box. So let's stay on just the tweet, but I'm just going to justify.
We've already tried to hash this out a little bit too.
Yeah, nothing new, but we believe that healthcare is a universal right, all that good stuff. ETC XYZ. We believe that everyone should have access to healthcare, and it's just very strange to us that when we see that, it's a hypocrisy point because yes, AOC, who believes everyone should get healthcare, cool, she's getting free healthcare, quote unquote, as a benefit. But it's interesting because it's not like there's co-pays for members of Congress. It's not like they have their own individual pay from their salary. It's just fully covered from as a benefit. And so it's just so funny to us when we see like Mitch McConnell, who benefits from zero copay full health coverage on a pay of $150,000 a year, which is, not like it's high, right? The dude's not a millionaire. He shouldn't be a millionaire just on that pay unless he saves it and invests it. But you see what I'm saying? It's a hypocrisy point. It's like maybe the answer is then, maybe the answer to this is not let's give everyone healthcare. Maybe Congress should have copays. Maybe they should have a portion of their paycheck go into their health insurance. If we want to play by true principles, Mitch McConnell should have a deductible.
Well, there is insurance out there still that isn't that doesn't have copays. Prior to switching careers, the union guys at the plant I worked at, they didn't have any copays at all, and all of the salary people did. The union had a different healthcare plan than the salary and the office workers. And that's what it was, right? And it was a benefit. So I don't think it's an issue that one group has a better benefit than another or whatever per se, even if it's Congress or, or a union or salary or whatever. But to kind of go to the crux of this, in my opinion, to what Nathan at least brought up was, all men are created equal, right? Or all people is the meaning, not just men, right? So all people are created equal, all mankind. So to me, that just means on a basic level, like you see somebody walking down the street, you respect them as a human being as much as you respect any other human being, not because of anything other than they're human. Sex doesn't matter, age doesn't matter, race doesn't matter, none of that shit matters, right? They're a human being, and that's to me what that means. But I'm nowhere near as valuable to the economy as Elon Musk, or I'm nowhere near as important to the economy as Trump right now as being a president or whatever, right? Like, so to say that everybody has an equal value to the country or to the GDP or to anything like that is, to me, just ignorant. That isn't the case. And people aren't created with equal skill levels or equal ability.
Right, and that's part of a much larger conversation.
Yeah, and I'm not. I want everyone to have the same opportunity at the same time. If somebody worked a lot harder to develop a skill, or were lucky enough to be born with some innate ability, right? That happens too. Then you would expect that they will strive and go further in some particular avenue than somebody that wasn't as good at it. They shouldn't all be the same.
I generally agree. I'll let you finish that up there, Chris.
Just real quick, this definitely gets into philosophy conversation, but not trying to challenge your notions or debate, but more just kind of lay out for the audience to know how the left feels. Is we for the most part, at least the very far left, maybe moderates on the left will disagree with this, but those on the far left, this is one of my far left beliefs is actually, we do think that everybody has equal value, including in their work, that we would say that, due to necessity, due to intrinsic value, that when I was a dishwasher, that work would have been considered just as valuable as somebody who was, building a car or designing electric cars or building a spaceship, right? We believe that human capital at all levels of society is fundamental. Even those who are unable, right? We believe that, okay, they're unable, but they still bring merit to this world. And that it's a weird conflation, Nate. Like you said, it's a weird conflation between everyone's equal in terms of human nature, and then all work is considered equal value, which I know you guys would disagree on that. Like, yes, Elon Musk's contribute to the economy is more valuable than myself that running a nonprofit. And I think
then, it's like, well, then do you kill yourself if it comes down to between you and Elon Musk dying? It's like, well, no, I still am a valuable human being, and we are on the same exact.
Also, I don't like Elon Musk. I just want to say this. I think
right, you're like, I would just kill him regardless.
I really think Elon Musk is a total sham, but that's a whole other point. But just wanted to say that there is a conflation there. I acknowledge the conflation, and I kind of stand by it. In that, work is we would say on the far left is all work is valuable. That's also where we also rein in real quick on like where we're not communist socialists, but we are democratic socialists. Is that we're not saying that all pay should be equal necessarily. And I get the whole in the argument. You can be like, well, if all pay is not equal, then like doesn't that right there say that you're? I get it. But what we're saying is that
if we boil it down, like let's look at hunter-gatherer type work or something. I don't know, just something basic. Like, let's say you had a tribe of 100 people, and only 2 out of those 100 were able to, successfully hunt animals, right? Everybody else has tried; they just don't have the skill; they can't do it. But 2 out of the people can do it. Is that work? Is them the what they're able to provide not more valuable because nobody else can do it? Whereas
would you not allocate more resources to them in order to compensate them for their valuable skills?
Right. Well, it would just work out that way, right? But compared to like maybe washing dishes, I shouldn't say washing dishes because we already talked about that. I was washing clothes. I don't know, but doing some basic, non-hard, not real skill labor that everybody in the tribe could do. Which one's more valuable? Which person hurts more if you lose, right? If you lose one of the two people that can do hunting, that's way more impactful. So to me, that work is more valuable.
And that's where we would come in and say, you're right. And that's where like democratic socialism comes in, where it's like, yeah, we should, individuals that are innovating, providing new skills. Yeah, like we can understand why they would be compensated more. And there's an incentive to work and acquire new skills, right? But we're saying that regardless of the journey that you're on and developing new skills, that at that moment, because you're also on that journey of, that incentivized journey of development, your work is still valuable. Now, granted, pay gets differentiated, right? But this kind of, again, it comes into conflation. Because we also believe universal healthcare is like a fundamental right, which I know you guys, it's a little bit more controversial, disagreeable. But because we believe in that, we also agree that aside from pay, this one particular benefit is something that we want everybody to have.
Well, and I think that's a different conversation, wholly, which you kind of hinted towards.
Well, I think it's the same thing. So,
I don't. I think what he's saying is their belief is that healthcare falls under what is generally considered, human right. Like when we talked, we both agreed, all three of us agreed. When you see another person walking down the sidewalk, you treat them with the same respect as anybody else, right? Doesn't matter if they're a dishwasher or a CEO; they're still a person.
It doesn't always shake out that way, but we respect people who do that, and we try to. If you're a good person, you generally try to emulate that.
We agree that that's a good way to be, right?
Yeah, we try.
Very American.
So what I think Chris is kind of getting to is he believes that similarly to treating everybody equally, regardless if they're a CEO or dishwasher, healthcare should be something provided equally to everybody. And I think that's a conversation that is different than saying that all work is equal, right? And I'm not saying that a dishwasher isn't valuable, or I'm just saying that I washed dishes when I got out of college before I got a job for a while. Everyone's path is different. I respect everybody's. Yeah, exactly. I respect everybody's path and whatever they get to do. But I definitely don't think that everybody's output is equal. But anyway, that's a good
right. So hey. Yeah, right. So it's an interesting conversation. I just wanted to see what you guys thought about that. It's one of these. It's a contradiction that everybody works with at some level or another, right? And I think it's more like a sliding scale. Like if you fully embrace that contradiction, you just end up further on the left. But like even Republicans, being Americans, we still dabble with that. I think everybody in this country does, and probably throughout the West.